23rd of November, Rabbi Moore, Parsha, Shavua, Vayeshev.
I think it was, I somehow managed to join twice. I don't know how I managed to do that.
Yeah, that's
twice.
probably it.
That can happen.
Right. Yeah, good. Let's go. Mayor, we have to process. It's your turn.
We're on Gimel, Lamed Zayin Gimel.
Yeah.
Okay, it says V'Yisrael ahav et Yosef mikol banav kiven zekunim hulo asa lo ketonet pasim. Okay, so Yisrael loved Yosef of all his sons because he was a son of his old age. And he gave to him, he made for him a ketonet.
It's like a cloak.
A cloak, a striped cloak. Pasim is stripes.
Yeah, we're going to see what Rashi means. Rashi learns actually doesn't mean striped.
Oh.
Rashi learns it was made of very fine wool.
Oh, okay. So let's see. So first he says, Ben Zikunim, of his old age, a child of his old age. Shenolad lo le'et zikano.
Right, that's Rashi's first chat. Okay?
Okay.
He was born to his old age.
Okay, but uncle is Tirgain.
On this, the Mephoshim asked, 1 second.
Okay.
Yaakov Avinu had a younger son.
Yeah, Binyamin.
So why in this respect is Yosef called the Ben Zkunim and not Binyamin? So I had two pshatim. One is there was an 8-year difference between Yosef and Binyamin. So for 8 years, Yosef was the youngest son. Okay, and therefore he got a title, even though it's a bit strange because Yaakov Avinu knew he was going to have another son because he knew he was destined to have 12 sons. I don't know, that's one pshat. The other pshat was that although Binyamin was younger, but he did not have the same love with Binyamin because Binyamin's birth was tinged with tragedy. Rachel died.
Yeah. Good point.
So therefore, his love for Yosef is greater than that for Binyamin. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, so the first shot is that he was born of his old age, and therefore the Yaakov Avinu special love for him. Shot number 2. Uncle is tear game.
Okay, uncle is tear game. Bar Habanim hu lay.
Bar Hakim hu lay. He was a wise son. Meaning, Chazal say, "Din v'hadarto pnei zoke." You have to respect the face of zoke. And Chazal say that particular place where it says zokein is not referring to old age, because it says mipnei seva toku. Previously, the pasuk says you should stand up for an old person. So what does it mean v'hadarto pnei zokein? So Chazal say Darshni to mean Zeh Shekona Chachma. Zokein is an acronym for saying Zeh Shekona Chachma, which means one who has acquired wisdom. So Zokein refers to somebody who's acquired wisdom. So when you say it was a Ben Zkunim Hulai, means he had a special affiliation to Yosef because he had learned Torah from him. Yosef was his prime student, Yaakov's prime student, and therefore that's why he had a special affiliation to him. That's what he says. Kol ma shelomad. Can you continue? Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Kol ma shelamad, all what he learned, mishem va'aver, was from Shem and Aver.
From Shem va'aver, whatever Yaakov had learned from Shem va'aver, Mosar loy.
He transmitted it to him. Oh, he gave it to him, to Yosef, I guess.
Right. So the Mefarshim explained what was so unique about this special Torah which they learned from Shem va'aver. Is basically put it very simply, is how to survive in a crazy world. I mean, is that both Shem and Ava were lived in generations which were basically generations of sinners, generations of people who were not connected to Hashem and not interested in fulfilling the will of Hashem. So therefore, they managed to maintain their righteousness even as loners in a situation where everybody around them was. In fact, Aver was called Aver because just like we find that Avram is called Avram HaIvri, right, which is commonly known, transliterated as the Hebrew. Okay, but what the word Ivri means, that he stood on one side where the whole world stood on the other side. Means he managed to go against the tide. Everybody was absorbed in idol worship. You know, that's the dumb thing. That's what everybody does. And yeah, Avram Avinu managed to stand on his own and go against the tide and preach monotheism. Hashem is the one who runs the world. Hashem cannot be put into an image, etc. Okay. Now, Ava also, to that a certain extent, was also managed to maintain his righteousness and his connection to Hashem. Even he was also Me'eva. The whole world was on one side, and he was Me'eva Hashem on the other side as well. Okay, and Shem as well. Shem was the son of Noach. He was the righteous son of Noach, and who also maintained much higher level of holiness and spirituality, despite everybody around him. So both these, so therefore, this Torah of Shem va'Ava, which Yaakov also absorbed in the 14 years, well, actually it was still Ava then, but previously he had learned by Shem as well. This was also, Yaakov knew he was destined to be, have to go into exile and be alone, have to maintain his connection with Hashem and his religiosity, despite being in a very alien environment. So that's what Yaakov learned from Shem va'Ava, and in turn, Yaakov taught this to Yosef because he knew Yosef was also destined to be able to have to go down, to be going away from him, and leave him and be alone. For this, that Torah which Yaakov had learned from Ava, he gave over to Yosef. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Very well.
Pictures are frozen. That's what I just wanted to. Okay. Yeah. By the way, that's one of the most amazing things about Yosef, is that he was a kid of 17, if you may put it those terms. He was a young boy of 17, and he was put in the into Egyptian high society, or various stages. He was put into Egyptian society, which was totally alien to his upbringing. And yet he managed to remain there for 22 years with tremendous challenges, and remained to remain steadfast in his level of spirituality and his level of righteousness, which is something was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay, that's so. Second shot is Kom Shalom Ad Mishem Ba'eva Masalai. Okay, carry on, Meir. Davar Acher.
Okay, Davar Acher, so another explanation. Shehaya Ziv Ikunin Shalo. Domer Lo. Huh. So what's
Ziv Ikunin means his facial features.
facial features was similar to his. Okay. So
Right.
similar to Yaakov's.
Right. So in that respect, they were very lookalikes and similar characters as well. Okay. Next Rashi, Pasim.
Okay, so Pasim, I translated it as stripes, but it says Lashon, right, Lashon Kli Milat. So it's the language is says garment of fine wool. Okay. Kimo Karpas Utachelet. Oh, it's like Karpas and the Techelet is the blue.
Right, that's aquamarine wool.
Aquamarine wool.
Karpas is also kind of fine wool.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
That's what Rashi explains it.
Well, isn't Karpas what we do on Pesach?
Yes, I know. Yeah, but in this context, some actually, it's a quote of the pasuk in Esther, the beginning of Megillah Esther, says Chor Karpasus Chelas. Okay, there were the different types of materials on which the guests of Achashverosh were placed. Okay? So you've got Chor Karpasus Chelas. So the Karpas is one of those materials. So Rashi learns over here it means a fine wool. But others learn it was a green color similar to the vegetable Karpas, which is generally known as parsley or some others, or some similar kind of vegetable to parsley. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it says Ukamo Ketonet Hapasim.
The Tamar v'Amnon.
Oh, okay. That's mentioned with
Tamar.
Tamar.
Tamar, well, both Amnon and Tamar were the children of David HaMelech. Okay, but different mothers. Okay, and Amnon took a craving to his sister Tamar, which was an unusual thing. But whatever, this is one of the klolos, these curses which were prophesied to David that he's going to have sorrow mitoch beisa, he's going to have troubles in his own house. So one of the things, he took such a craving for her that he even became what they call lovesick for her. And then afterwards, fortunately, he defiled her. Okay?
Okay.
He tried to anyway. Okay, so therefore also it says there that Tamar wore a special robe, a royal robe, and it was made of it was also karpas. Ksonis hapasim. She wore a special ksonis pasim, which was also like a royal robe worn out of fine wool. Okay, that's the Midrash Agada.
Okay, Midrash Agada. Let's see. Al Shem Tsarotav. Oh, because of his troubles. Oh, She Nimkar Lepotifar. Okay, so he was sold to Potiphar. Soharim Ishmaelim. Soharim are sellers, I guess.
Merchants. Yeah.
Merchants, okay. And the Ishmaelites, Umidyanim, and also to the Midianites. Wow.
Now, obviously, they're not in order. But the Maisa, Rashi's going to say later on, when Yosef was sold, he was sold a number of times. So we got over here, one time that says the Ishmaelim took him out of the bar and the brothers sold Yosef to them. As Midyanim came and Socharim, there were other merchants well later whoever bought Yosef afterwards sold him to somebody else. He was sold a number of times. So that's what Rashi says. And the last one to whom he was sold was Potiphar.
Mm-hmm.
This is indicated here in the Parsha. Potiphar is a pay, Socharim is a samach, Yishmaelim is a yud, and Midyanim is the mem. So you got that reads past. Okay?
Okay.
Now, just about over here, just an interesting point. Mrs. All the Mepharshim asks. In fact, the Gemara mentions it. And Gemara says a person should never show favoritism. Or make it. I'll be more accurate. He says should never make a distinction between his children, because Yaakov did so, and as a result of that, there caused tremendous strife among the brothers, and the end result was that. Yosef was sold, and that's how they ended up being in Egypt. Or go down to Egypt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what was Yaakov's cheshbon? Did he really mean to show so overt favoritism to Yosef and make a special coat for him just to show he's his favorite child? That sounds very, very strange. Anyway, the Malbim explains a very interesting point. And he says that the deal was that whoever was an attendant of Yaakov, he got to wear special clothing. And so as rule of thumb, the brothers were tending the sheep. So most of the time they were out in the fields tending the sheep. And whoever was there attending to their father, special attending to their father, he got to wear special clothes in honor of Yaakov, not in honor of the son, in honor of Yaakov. Just like the king has a butler or whatever, attendants, a rich person, important person has attendants, and they wore a kind of uniform to show that in honor of the important person, of the noble. So too, this is why Yaakov bought the special coat for Yosef, because he was the one chosen to be the attendant of Yaakov. It's in honor of Yaakov, not in honor of Yosef. There was such an jealousy between the brothers, particularly the sons of Leah, and Yosef, that the brothers misconstrued it and saw it as a show of favoritism to Yosef, rather than what Yaakov's intention was. It should be really a garment of honor to show whoever was who's attending to Yaakov himself, he would wear that garment of honor. Okay. Dalet, Lou.
Doesn't the phrase "he was a son of his old age" imply favoritism also?
Yes, but according to this chat, that's why he was chosen to be an attendant to Yaakov, because he then skunim ulay. The Ma'aseh should have said, 1 second. You're 100% right. The Pasuk actually says that. You can't get away from it. Yisrael loved Yosef more than all his other sons. He then skunim ulay. But what it doesn't, the Pasuk doesn't say is that he made the Ksonis Pasuk because he was his favorite son. That's how the brothers interpreted it. But the Maisa, according to the Malbim Shad, that's not why he made a special coat. You follow?
I follow you, but like you say, if you just read the Pashat Pasuk, I mean, it's all the
You
same
could find it in the
soup. He
Pshat,
loved him more, and he made the
him-
Coke. They're all together.
Right.
It's hard to
Right.
it's hard to understand
How the
Yaakov.
brothers construed it. I'm just saying. What I'm trying to explain is as follows: how would Yaakov make such a blatant educational mistake? That's the question. And the answer, this is what we're trying to answer, is saying, no, that wasn't Yaakov's intention. His intention was not to show, give him a nice coat as favoritism for Yosef, but rather there was favoritism in the respect that he loved him more, and maybe that's why he chose him to be in attendance. But the purpose of the garment wasn't to that Joseph should have a fancy garment. Purpose was that whoever's in attendance of Yaakov, he should.
Rabbi, we can't really hear you. Your voice is breaking up. We're hearing like every third word.
Should have.
Is that true for you too, Mayor?
Yes, I can't hear him.
We can't hear you, Rabbi. Maybe you should go out and come
A
back.
nice garment. Okay? Yeah, let's on. Pasuk.
All right, I'll give it a try.
Hello? As long as I'm not.
He's on the phone.
Oh. Ah. Okay, he's coming in again,
Okay.
but he's going to be in here twice. So I got to kick him out. Let me see if I can kick him out here. Remove.
Well, now you don't know which one is which. Oh, now he's there once.
Okay. Yeah, I kicked him out. I hope I
I'll
kicked
go
him out.
again now. You hear me
Oh,
now?
okay.
Oh, much
Good.
better, Rabbi. Much better.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what? It's a very strange thing. I came in now not through the browser, but rather through Zoom. Okay.
It's better to come in through Zoom if you can.
I know, but it hadn't been working by me till now, but it could be now. I've got the new connection. It's working. And if you notice, I don't know if you see me that way, but I'm now inverted.
Oh, no, we see you the same as we did before, as I do.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I see
Same.
myself I see myself in a mirror.
Oh,
Okay.
All right, so Vayiru Echav ki oso ahav avihem mikol Echav v'yisneu oso v'lo
Vayisnu also. It's a va. It's a past tense. Vayisnu also.
v'yisneu oso v'lo yachlu dabru ro shalom. Okay, so his brothers saw that his father loved him more
More
than
than his
his
brothers.
brothers, and they hated him. and they could not speak to him peacefully.
Right.
So here we have the clincher on it. I mean, it's clear in the pasuk. Yaakov made a big mistake. He revealed his feelings. Whether
It's
you
very
want to say it
interesting.
had to do with the cloak or not, but clearly he acted in such a way that it was obvious to them.
Right. But one thing in itself, I mean, thought occurred to me, don't know whether it wasn't this year, previous years. Why are they, should we say, channeling their hatred to Yosef? They should be channeling their hatred to their father, because he's the one who's showing favoritism.
Because they are insecure.
But they should come along with their father. He said, Father, why are you favoring Yosef rather than us? The answer is that they realized their father was a big tzaddik, wasn't dumb. And they accounted this favoritism to the fact that, as we had in previous pasuk, that Yosef was painting a very black picture of the brothers to their father. And therefore, that was the cause of why the father showed favoritism to Yosef more than to them. Because the father obviously accepted what Yosef said. And therefore, the image of the brothers in the father's eyes had been very much lowered as a result of this bad, evil reports which Yosef was telling about them. Mamela, that's why Yaakov was favoring Yosef more than the brothers. So Yosef's to blame. Okay.
Even there, we have a question on Yaakov. Yaakov, first of all, Yaakov is being Mekabel Lashon Hara. How could he do that? And second of all, he's telling them what Yosef is saying. So he's speaking Rechilas. He's engendering hatred between Jews. How could Yaakov do that? How could he act that way?
That second statement, what do you say? He told the brothers that this is what Yosef had told him?
How else would they know?
How else did the brothers know that the Yosef was telling I don't know. That's a good point. But it's very unlikely that Yaakov himself was telling them.
I assume that Yaakov was accusing them. He was confronting them.
He was rebuking them.
Saying, I heard you did this, I heard you do that. And they put two and two together. How did he hear? It must have been Yosef.
Exactly, right.
So how could he be so naive? He's Yaakov Avinu.
Right, exactly. It could be as follows. It could be that Yaakov never told them. All the brothers, it could be that Yosef himself said to the brothers, I'm going to tell our father, you're not doing tshuva. I've warned you about doing this and this and this, and you're still carrying on, you're ignoring me, and what you're doing is wrong. I'm going to tell father about this. That's more likely. That's more likely form of events than actually that Yaakov rebuked him, because we never find that Yaakov rebuked him. What we do see is only that Yaakov shows favoritism to Yosef. That's all we see.
Okay, in that case, I got another taina on Yaakov. Yaakov sends Yosef to go and find his brothers. Didn't Yaakov know that they hated him? Didn't he know he was putting him in terrible danger by doing that? Why would he be so?
Rashi asked the question. Rashi says later, Pasuk Yudalet. I hope we'll get there today. What day are we today? Tuesday. I hope we'll get there. Anyway, Rashi says, what do you mean, the valley of Hebron? Hebron's in the mountains. Rather, in words, Yaakov Avinu, when he sent Yosef, if he'd actually contemplated what he was doing, he wouldn't have done it. But the Maisa, he had to do so in order to fulfill a prophecy of Avraham Avinu. Rashi says that on Pasuk Yudalet.
So instead of just saying, okay, everybody, let's get up and go to Egypt, he said, I'll put my son in fatal danger and we'll go down to Egypt that way.
I understood Rashi as follows, that Yaakov did something which defied logic, but it was like he wasn't himself. It wasn't when he did it, when he sent Yaakov, so when he sent Yosef, it was not something which he did, which was logical. It was something which Kilu, I don't use it, was possessed with a certain spirit to go ahead and do it, whatever, but it was not done out of logic. Because had it been so, then he wouldn't have sent it. It's like you'd say in Yiddish, "Gechabte mishigas," right?
He was crazy?
Not crazy, but you say "Chabte" means he had a crazy idea.
Okay, anyway, Rashi says, V'lo yachlu dabru l'shalom. They could not speak to him peacefully. Mitoch genusam lamadnu shiv sam. Shivcham. Mitoch is within.
No, mitoch means forget. Doesn't say b'sod. Mitoch, as a result of, or from the midst. That means literally.
From the midst of the denigration, they learn.
We learn their praise.
We learn their praise, the praise of the brothers.
Even though the mindset at this point, just 1 second, what it actually means is, even though at this point the Torah is actually denigrating the brothers because he's saying that they hated him and they couldn't speak to him peaceably, which is not something, not a compliment, but out of their disgrace, let's say, the denigration, Lomad, we learn their praise. You see, because even they did something which they shouldn't have done, but we can see the Maisa, they didn't do it in such a bad way. Meaning, Shaloi, carry on.
That they did not speak with him one thing with their mouth, v'achas b'levav, and another thing with their heart.
Right. They weren't hypocritical.
Right. Dabro, speak to him. L'daber imo means to speak with him.
Yeah. Dabro. Now, so Rashi's pointing out l'daber imo, even though you could understand this word dabro, which means his speech, is dabra as a noun. So Rashi pointing out there's not a noun, but in fact it's a gerund form. It's a gerund verb. Means they couldn't, dabroi means they couldn't be speaking with him. The dabeimo, to speak with him. Lo yochlu dabroi Hashem. They couldn't be speaking with him peaceably. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Okay, I think we'll stop here. Okay? And Be'ez Hashem will pick up again tomorrow. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.